Saturday. You know what that means. It's the half hour of horror. We're going to talk about some fun stuff today. We got some guests, as usual. It's my co host. Oh, hey, it's Chase. What's happening, man?
Hello and happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Here we go. It's the first Saturday. It feels like spring to me, so I'm in a good mood. Another guest, my writing partner, my business partner, Patrick Mediate. Welcome, bro.
Dude, I love that intro.
Yeah,
I love the
so
intro
fun,
to
right?
the show.
Amazing.
The sound effects and everything come together. It's badass. I love it. And I love being here. It's exciting every time I'm able to come on the show. So thanks for having me again.
Always fun to have you, man. What's up, Karen? Hi.
Hello, Karen.
As usual,
Karen.
big shout out to everybody who joins us on their Saturday mornings or early Saturday afternoons. We love to hear from you guys. Hop up in the YouTube X chat. Talk to us. Let us know what you think. Today, we're putting on our big red noses. We're talking about scary clowns because it is just become one of the scariest things. It's a great trope. Scary clowns are terrifying. I have some good scary clown stories. I have some scary clown history. Edgar Allan Poe wrote a story that had the first killer clown. It was about a jester who killed his mean old king and was dressed as a clown. That's the first killer clown story. Fun fact, Edgar Allan Poe bringing us the scary. But I think in the 80s, obviously, Stephen King wrote It, which brought the killer clown thing full circle. Everybody really did not like clowns after that movie, but we're going to talk about it. So, Chase, what's the scariest killer clown movie on your list?
You know what?
It might
Not
be it.
really.
Who knows?
Not scary, but one I actually rewatched last night, and I actually really enjoy it. Kind of divisive, but Rob Zombie's 31.
Our in-house Rob Zombie fan Stan 31. This is interesting because I found 31 to be kind of wild because it was kind of like a Saw movie, but without traps. Instead, clowns with chainsaws.
Kind of like Running Man with clowns.
Running Man with clowns. That is very apt. It's a weird movie. It's pretty fun, really violent. It hits that like Rob Zombie over the top, really grungy, gnarly hillbilly hellscape, and
That old school 70s grindhouse
yes,
dialogue and kind of aesthetic to it.
yeah. The clowns in it are terrifying because they're not like fun, cute clowns. They're grungy, terrifying murder clowns with chainsaws. Pat, have you seen this one?
I have. It's a really polarizing film, 31, especially for Rob Zombie's canon. And I may have to rewatch it because I don't quite know what to think about it myself. I know I didn't quite enjoy it the first time I saw it, but it's worth the rewatch. It's worth the rewatch, and much respect to Rob Zombie for everything he's doing.
It's almost, for me, it's almost too much. It is an assault to my senses. And I think the first time you watch it, you're always like, is it going to go too far? Is it going to do something that just really fucks with my head? Because when it comes to like torture movies and like movies that are like sadistic like this, I'm always like on the edge of my seat that it's like, oh my God, are they going to cross that line that I can't handle and it's going to like upset me too much or whatever? And this movie rides that line really well. Like it definitely rides that line on the edge. And so it's like, I think a second watch is going to be more enjoyable than the first time, because the first time I'm just like, on the edge of my seat. And then the second time you're like, all right, let's kill these guys.
It's probably, I would say, and this is a lot considering Rob Zombie's filmography. I would say it's definitely kind of the most mean-spirited.
Yeah, it's mean.
Which is saying something,
because it's a bad evil movie.
Which is saying something because all of Rob Zombie's movies are very mean-spirited. But
yeah,
but yeah, I just really like. First of all, Richard Brake gives the performance of a lifetime here as the main antagonist. I think Doomhead, he's absolutely, he nails it. He's phenomenal. Like you could actually tell, like, just you could actually watch his performance in it and believe he's a serial killer.
He's a great villain. Richard Brake across the board. Everything he's in is usually pretty spectacular. I think as a villain, I mean, he's great. I love him. He's the best part of a Hannibal Rising, even though that movie's kind of but he is a very recognizable
that movie.
That man bad guy, and I I like him. He was in a sci-fi movie called Vesper that was really good. He's in Mandalorian as one of the Empire bad guys. He's very recognizable. When you see him, you're like, hey, that guy. But he kind of came over to Rob Zombie's world, and he's in 3 from Hell and all that stuff. But a very, very good creepy actor.
Oh yeah, and especially his memorable role, small but very memorable role in Barbarian, where he where I'd say he plays the main antagonist in that one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. But you don't find him until near the end, which is awesome. Malcolm McDowell's in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like, did you need the money? What's going on, man?
He shows up in weird movies though. Like I find that about Malcolm McDowell is he does show up in the oddest places where you're like, how did he get in this movie?
Well, he was Samuel Loomis in Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Yep.
And I think he and Rob Zombie must be like pals from that point, just like, yeah, all right, I'll show up in it.
Yeah, like Malcolm McDowell, he definitely has had an awkward career because like he was in that movie about the Fox News SA lawsuit. That I think Charlize Theron got nominated for an Oscar for. And then like right before that, he was in that really schlocky Death Race remake. Like, so he does like some real schlocky straight to VOD movie, then Oscar winning film after that.
It's
weird.
Yeah.
It's weird the movies he shows up in. It really is strange.
Because he's like, yeah, I'll take some of your money for your shitty, like, bad horror movie, and then go on and do like some amazing. Did you guys see Thelma?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really fun.
The woman on the who steals good.
It's a woman. It's a movie where a
story.
woman's identity is stolen, and she tries to get revenge on the people, and it's filmed like an action film. But the visuals are not an action film. It's very funny in that respect. Very fun. Really good movie.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen it, but I heard of it. I heard she's great in it.
Richard
really
Brake. He always plays a drug dealer. It's just so funny, the stuff that you see these guys in. I would like to know what his agent thinks when he's like, hey, by the way, I'm going to do this Rob Zombie clown movie. And they're like, Malcolm, you're an Oscar nominated actor. What are you doing? He's like, it's going to be fun. I like Rob.
He's a cool dude. I like hanging out with him.
I bet Rob Zombie is a really cool dude to hang out with, but it's not his only clown appearance. Obviously, Rob Zombie did House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects, which has one of the best clown moments ever. Sid Haig as Captain Spaulding is just you cannot get better clown than that. I could watch Sid Haig put on clown makeup and talk about ice cream flavors all day. Tutti fucking fruity, man, was so good. It was so good. This is to me the high watermark of what Rob Zombie was doing with that trilogy. The first one was like, I want to make Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and nobody let him, so he just made his own. I saw this in college. We got it was weird. Somebody's mother worked for some like the Emmys or the some sort of, not the Emmys, Golden Globes, and got a screener of House of a Thousand Corpses. Which
I was there with you. I was in the room.
You were there
at 100 Beacon in the room screening that, and you know who it was?
Who?
It was Dave's boyfriend's screeners. We actually went down the street on Beacon Street to go to his house. He was like, 80 years old, and Dave was like 19.
Yeah. I do remember.
And we got the VHS from him, and we brought it over because I don't know how he got that kind of movie, because they're usually like award season movies, not like horror movies. So it was interesting.
And we watched it, and it was one of those movies I didn't know what to expect. I didn't really know anything about it, so it was unprepared for how wild House of a Thousand Corpses was going to be.
Yep, it was great. That was a really great experience watching that for the first time in a room with all of us there. It was a lot of fun.
Well, and it was a lot of people who also just weren't prepared. Everybody was like, what is this? Oh my gosh, what is this? And this is before Rainn Wilson is like famous. So it's like,
for the
that
Office.
guy, that guy's in it, and this guy's in it, and you got Hardwick is in it. You're just like, it was such a weird cast that all went on to become famous for different things. and then you go back and you get to watch them get turned into a living mermaid, which is such a bonkers.
So crazy.
And one of the things about this movie is, so this film came out in 2003. It was actually shot in 2000.
Really?
And it was originally supposed to be distributed by Universal Studios.
Oh,
But they got cold feet on it
of course.
because they were scared of it getting an NC-17 rating. So for the past 3 years, Rob Zombie had been shopping for a distributor. Finally got one with, at the time, was still kind of an up and coming film studio with Lionsgate, who were like, "Yeah, let's do it." And it ended up becoming a box office success and spawning 2 sequels. One better than, House of a Thousand Corpses. The other, we'll not talk about that, but
Yeah, Three from Hell just wasn't the business. That was a kind of a letdown. But that Devil's Rejects blew my mind. That really, I mean, it felt so grindhouse. It was also so bleak. Such a different vibe too. Whereas like House of a Thousand Corpses is very much like this like clown carnival thing going on. Devil's Rejects was just very brutal. And like they get out to that hotel and start cutting people's faces off, and you're just like, what is this? And then the ending where it's like, we're gonna do a complete shootout. Okay, Rob Zombie, sounds great. What you want a needle drop in there? And he's like, yeah, I want Freebird. And they're like, okay, what part of
all
Freebird?
10 minutes of Freebird.
He's like, the whole thing. And they're like, Rob, this whole thing can take, like, the scene should only be a minute and a half long. What do you mean? You want to drag this out in 10 minutes? He's like, we're going to shoot it in slow motion. And they're like, what?
That
And
was crazy.
Oh,
I love that scene in House.
Wow.
It wasn't Devil's Rejects. It was House of a Thousand Corpses. The scene where they play that like twangy version of "I'll Remember You," and the police officer comes and it's slow mo.
Yeah,
he gets shot. Was that House of a Thousand Corpses?
That's Devil's Rejects.
That was Devil's. Oh,
I thought it was Devil's Rejects. Well, I'm thinking of the one where in Devil's Rejects, they hold the gun to the guy's head. It's a super wide shot, and they hold it.
That's House. I think that's House.
Yeah, that's House of a Thousand Corpses.
When the guy that was in Saving Private Ryan, who played old, like the old version of Private Ryan, Private Ryan, who was Matthew, blanking on my
Walton Goggins is in that scene too.
Walton Goggins is in that scene too. He plays one of the cops. Yeah. Yep.
Great moment. I love how he plays with time there. But yeah, he plays all 10 minutes of Freebird and bam. I know the editors for both of these. The editor for both these films is a guy named Glenn Garland. I've worked with him on several projects. Nice guy, talented editor. But it's so funny because he's like Rob Zombie's. He's just so chill. He is a great guy. I love hanging out with him. He just has a vision and he makes it work. So, but yeah, I like that. Devil's Rejects is my favorite of his films. Just because it was so bonkers and so like I love that road movie vibe. It really did have a slice of sort of this what's the motorcycle movie, Easy Rider. It felt like Easy Rider with murderous clowns.
I could see that. That's a good analogy.
Yeah. If you don't have it already, I highly recommend getting the 20th anniversary box set of House of a Thousand Corpses.
I didn't even think that even existed. What's special features must be off the charts on that.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. It has a documentary, making of documentary, different casts and interviews. It comes with these art cards with it.
Whoa,
that's very cool. That's probably like $50.
I think I'm trying. I wait for stuff to go on sale, but but it comes with a little picture booklet. But yeah, it's awesome. I highly recommend any fan of this movie to get it.
Love that. That's very cool.
I'll have to give it a shot. Yeah, I'll have to go. I want to get that for the special features because that's one that I would watch Rob Zombie talk about, like what he's doing, why he's doing it. I forgot Walter Goggins was in that movie.
I always call him Walter Goggins too, and it's so easy to like slip. His actual name is Walton Goggins, and I was calling him Walter Goggins for the longest time because Walton is such a
rare name,
more rare name. Yeah.
Mm.
I always call him Uncle Baby Billy Freeman, but
I'm not making any money here, folks. I just love saving souls. Pat, what's your go-to killer clown movie?
I mean, my go-to has got to be Killer Clowns from Outer Space. There's something quirky about the movie, but it still there's something terrifying about it. There it is, Chase. I mean, it's just, I have that version as well, which is spectacular. But there's just something really overtly creepy about it. And I think it's like because clowns hit hometown, and there's scenes where the one scene that gets me is the scene where the clown hides in the hamper in the bathroom. And my grandmother always had a hamper in her bathroom. And I just imagined that clown hiding in there. Until this day, I walk by it and I just imagine there being a clown just sitting in there popping out. And the Chiodo brothers were so good at balancing that hokiness, but also bringing a scare factor to it. And we'll talk about, obviously, Killer Clowns from Outer Space because it's a big one. But my runner-up would be the first evil killer clown movie. I don't know if you call it killer clown, but clown horror thing that I first watched, which was the Are You Afraid of the Dark episode, The Tale of Laughing in the Dark, which featured Zeebo the clown, which always scared the hell out of me as a kid. And Are You Afraid of the Dark, like many, was one of our first forays into horror. So I'll always give that episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark props, especially for the evil clown element.
I am going to pull up this image of Zeebo the clown because
he's so creepy.
Yeah, it's so creepy. I had completely forgot about that, but it was, Zeebo the clown was just one of those ones that just was unacceptably terrifying. And they did such a good, I always loved how Are You Afraid of the Dark was able to do this. Zeebo the clown, for those of you who don't remember, there's your terror childhood.
You just unlocked childhood trauma for me.
Well, and very Chiodo Brothers in that same sense. Like, he has that over exaggerated look. There was so much, that episode.
Right.
That one and the one where they get trapped in the pinball machine scared the living bejeebies out of me.
It's a great series. I mean, and for kids, there's just nothing like this that exists anymore. I don't think, personally.
They keep trying, but they don't. Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark? They were just some really solid terror tales. It's like Tales from the Crypt Light, which is great. And it got us into horror. It really did. Killer Clowns is awesome. I think this movie is one of those ones that's so bizarre and unique. You've never seen anything like it. Nothing like it has come since. Alien clowns that abduct people and turn them into cotton candy. It's a living cartoon in a sense. What are you going to knock my block off is,
what are you going to do with those pies, boys?
Yeah. And it's just so funny. And for those of you who don't know, the fat clown, the creepy looking chubby clown in that movie, is also repainted for Ernest Scared Stupid.
That's the troll, one of the trolls.
One of the trolls, But Killer Clowns from Outer Space. All of these have also been Universal Horror Nights haunted houses that I've been through, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. They've all been haunted houses. Really fun. There we go. El Inca was a haunted clown at an attraction.
Oh, wow.
It is half like sort of attraction based, half clown based. So you should check it out, Inca, if you haven't seen the episode yet.
But Killer Clowns from Outer Space is awesome. I work for the Chiodo Brothers. I was doing like digital effects and editing for them, and like you just like the killer clowns are hanging out. The costumes are on the wall. The gag, the punching glove gag is like over there. It's like, it's so cool to see that stuff. I love going into effect shops and seeing what people got. And, they also did Team America World Police. So like the Matt Damon puppet is over there. And then they did one of the Ninja Turtle movies. So there's like a Ninja Turtle. You're like, man, this is just, what a cool museum. I wish I could cut the first like 20 minutes out of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It does the setup, but if I have to hear this old man call for his dog one more time, I'm about to lose my mind. It's like, George, and you're like, come on, just find your dog or die. Hurry up. My favorite Killer Clown movie is going to be kind of a funny one because it's post the heyday of Killer Clowns. And this is a movie from 2014 just called Clown.
Oh, is that Eli Roth?
Yeah.
Is it? It's directed by John Watts.
Produced by Eli Roth.
produced by Eli Roth,
Okay,
directed
but
by
it's the
Joe
body
Roth.
horror one, right?
It's the body horror one where
Okay.
a guy is like, it's his daughter's birthday or his kid's birthday, and they're like, the clown didn't show up, so he goes to like try and find a costume. He breaks into an old costume shop, finds a case with a clown suit inside, puts it on, shows up at the clown at his kid's birthday party, laugh riot, but then he can't take it off and he starts turning into a clown, like transforming metamorphosis, turning into a clown. And it is horrifying. This is a movie that, like, it really stuck with me also because he keeps trying to cut off clown bits from him with like circular saws, and it's gnarly because
box cutter scene when he's trying to cut the sleeve off.
Yeah, he's trying to cut the costume off, and it starts growing into his body, and it is a really well done idea with great execution. And it's like, I do love, I love it. Killer Clowns is a lot of fun, but this was the first time where like it took it to a place that hadn't been done before, because he's not. It's happening to him. The clown is becoming this like cancer growing from inside of him. It's totally dark, totally gross, but just really well done. And also, they make a good case for it being plausible, because I think the premise, you'd be like, that's a stupid idea. But then you watch it and you're like, oh, it's actually a great idea and executed really well. Really well acted. I feel so bad for Andy Powers, the guy who gets turned into the clown. But this was the one that really blew me away as a clown movie.
And they go places other horror films, like clown horror films, really didn't go before that. They kill kids. Yeah, because like he's trying to eat the kids, and then like, oh my god, he's trying
there's some really, really dark, like, yeah.
And there's some gnarly stuff with some circular saws and some table equipment. You guys should check it out.
Then when they pull the clown nose that they found off of, like, and then like it takes
pieces of his skin off. Yeah, when they pull it, they try to pull the nose, and his nose comes with it. Really fucked up in the best way possible. That one's a good skin crawler and good body horror. I'm surprised we didn't bring that up when we talked about body horror. Missed it, but it's a good clown movie too. So watch that one.
Talking about it now.
Yeah. All right. What else we got? What should we talk about?
I got one. I actually got a life size sitting right beside me.
What is it?
For a little jump scare.
Art the Clown.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
It's almost like, do you remember Pee-wee Big Adventure, the clown that's outside the thing? It's almost like someone took the Pee-wee thing and put Art the Clown on it. It's terrifying. He's like
terrifying. The new Clown Prince of Terror, Terrifier. I will give it to Art. I think he's the next horror icon. I think he's the most modern horror icon that we have that has stood the test of time. His popularity has soared through the roof.
And I think what really like makes it so unique compared to like other horror icons that, something like Blumhouse, has introduced Megan, or, Paramount with the Smile Demon. This one really came out of nowhere. It was really kind of like a grassroots kind of thing, because the first one was made on a budget of $50,000, like all Kickstarter and self-funded, and it just kind of got dropped on VOD, and then it just kind of went on Netflix and streaming, and it just kind of grew into this kind of little cult hit. Then the second one came out in 2022, and it was only supposed to be in theaters for like a week.
It destroyed in theaters.
And it was only made on a budget of, which is, it was significantly larger than the first, but you got to think compared to something like other like major studios, which puts $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 into their budgets. It was only made on a $250,000 budget, only supposed to be in theaters for a week. And really, word of mouth kind of helped it grow. People were like, oh, this shit was so gnarly. There's a scene where Art does this, and it's just people were just seeing it just because they were hearing how gnarly and nasty it was, and it ended up making 15,000. Then you get a couple years later, the
It
third
made
one,
15 million. It made it.
or
It
15 million. My
it,
bad.
it destroyed at the box office. It was the
Wild.
highest grossing independent horror film ever made, which was insane.
Wow.
And then of course the third one comes out 2 years later and ends up
Tops that.
again, no major distribution deal, all independent, but it had a significantly larger budget of I think 2 million.
2 million. And
Yeah,
and then it gets independently distributed as unrated, which is like unheard of for.
and it
Mhm.
made $90 million at the box office. 90
Destroyed.
million. The crazy thing is there's this locally owned theater like 2 minutes from my house that I go to quite frequently. But again, it's very small. They only have 8 screens and they only like show basically just major studio stuff. That the fact that they got this movie, independently distributed, unrated movie, I was like, wow, like this movie has really made an impact, because that's very rare when that theater gets something like that.
It's huge. The impact of Terrifier, I think, cannot be ignored. Like whether people, I know it's very controversial because it's so violent, but like you cannot ignore that it has changed the face. And like last week we were talking about how there's before Saw and then there's after Saw. Terrifier does that again because it showed the viability of a gore film and independent horror, and it really has like gone there. Hard Eyes, which just came out last month, also huge at the box office, really did a great job. And I think it's just like independent horror is doing so well right now. And, it's awesome. But Art the Clown has just been destroying it at the box office. And, NECA just picked up the licensing for the toys. Like that's unheard of and amazing. So,
She had Spirit Halloween release a bunch of merch last season.
Yeah.
Where they just, which of course comes with the animatronic that sits there, and then
the VHS
t-shirts.
Releases. I mean, it's the movement of Terrifier has really set a bar that can't be denied. So I think there's some really exciting things that are coming out of that movie's success for sure.
Yeah, the VHS, which I have the second one, I don't have the third one.
And 100% the violence and the humor, the David Howard Thornton playing Art the Clown, like if it was somebody else, it might not even do so well. But the fact that he has the facial expressions to carry this story while being silent is incredible.
Which the thing is, there was a previous film with Art the Clown in it called All Hallows Eve, which is an anthology film of all of Damien Leone's previously directed shorts. And it wasn't David Howard Thornton in that one. It was I think Michael something. He wasn't even like I think he wasn't even like like actual actor.
Yeah.
I think he was like just one of Damien Leone's buddies. Michael Gianelli. And he was just basically in the shorts just to basically
All Hallows Eve. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even then I thought he did a good job, but he wasn't David Howard Thornton. David Howard Thornton kind of brought a new dimension.
I mean, he was a mime. David Howard Thornton was a mime and a classically trained actor, and he brought so much character that Chaos. Y'all got Clown House? No, we're not talking about Clown House.
We talked about it before the show, and we decided we would abstain from giving it any type of
Clown House is a creepy clown horror movie, but it's directed by the convicted pedophile who did the Jeepers Creepers series, and bad things happen on the set of that movie. So
bad dude, very bad.
We don't want to condone even spending money to find that film.
Yeah, don't find that movie, but just know that
Victor Salva.
Fucked it. I'll give you that. F Victor Salva, but it is a scary clown movie.
It is. That is for. We don't want to build it up, but it is effective. It is effectively scary.
But I will bring up Killjoy, since El Inca did talk about Killjoy. I will. So Killjoy is a very like super low budget movie, but it's a killer clown who is just really raunchy, but like it's effective. And he has a whole bunch of movies. Killjoy keeps showing up in all these like Killjoy meets the Killer Bong, Killjoy 2, Killjoy 3, Killjoy Goes to Hell, Killjoy Psycho Circus. It's an entire series. And for the low budget of what they are, they get it done. They do the job. I haven't seen the last 2 Killjoys, but I've seen Killjoy 1, 2, and 3, which, I mean, with the right group of people who are down to laugh. I will say Killjoy is like trying to be Freddy. He's trying to be like an evil Freddy clown. And that like is probably the best description. He's just way raunchier. And
So that one is a full moon feature film. I think we lost Aaron.
Uh-oh. We lost Aaron. Aaron. Well, we can.
Yeah, let's talk about
go on
Killjoy.
go on as Aaron is coming back here.
Yeah, so
yeah, it's
There he is. He's back.
feature.
but yeah, Killjoy is a full moon feature film. So of course they're gonna do a billion sequels to those.
Yeah, Full Moon makes some fun ones though. I mean, they're terrible, but like,
Listen,
you know,
Full Moon has a great reputation, like for those types of movies. You know.
yeah. And that's why they're fun. There's another one that I want to say it's in the Full Moon sort of vein. It's called Drive Through, and this was one that was like, I thought this was going to suck. We were watching it for Shitty Movie Sunday. The Launchpad used to do this thing at our apartment where every Sunday we get a bunch of people together and watch terrible movies. And Drive Through, we almost had to turn off because it was too good.
Oh wow! What is it about? What is Drive Through about?
Drive Through is a abandoned fast food joint, and there's a killer like clown with a drive-through speaker in his mouth, and he hacks people to bits with his axe, and it's just a bunch of food related puns and microwave kills, but really fun and all in one location. So it was surprisingly good for what it is. The kills were surprisingly good for what they are, and I liked the character. He was pretty well put together. A lot of people don't, it's not the best, but like a killer clown at a drive-through, bring it on. I'm here for that.
I forgot there is actually a soon-to-be big star, or a man who would end up becoming a big star that is in this movie. This is one of his first roles. Penn Badgley of the hit series, Netflix series You, is in this.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he's the guy with like the kind of real long curly hair.
Yeah.
Again, it's if you're digging on Killjoy, Drive Through is in that same vein, but it was competently made. And I think when you're watching a shitty movie, when they're actually like pretty competent, you're like, oh damn, all right, well, guys knew how to make a movie. Good for them.
I gotta ask, just because I was looking up some other clown horror movies to refresh. Has anyone? I have not seen this movie personally, but has anyone ever seen Clownado?
No,
Clowns and Tornadoes.
Is that a real movie?
Yes.
Oh god, I'm gonna look it up.
I just stumbled on it, and the art is just spectacular. It's just clowns in a killer tornado. It's a cross between Twister and clowns. So I just was curious if
it's not appearing on Letterboxd. It
is on Letterboxd. I found it on Letterboxd.
You did? All right, maybe.
Yeah. Oh my god, this poster
is
an average star rating of 1.8 stars out of 5.
Here's the poster. Wow.
Yeah.
It's about to get twisted. 1.8. Oh no.
Wow.
Clownado. Leanna Quigley's in it.
You can make it. I feel like you can make a tornado movie out of anything.
I think, well, after the popularity of Sharknado, I think everybody just what is this? Here's a guy who gave it half a star, and then we'll just show you. Here's his half-star review of Clownado. Just a bunch of broken hearts.
Well, that means that we need to watch Clownado for sure.
I might have to.
I'm putting it on the Letterboxd list.
Add it to your list, Aaron, and talk about it with Rumi on Launchpad.
Yeah, I might have to. Oh my God, Clownado! How does that happen?
How does that happen? That's the biggest question.
there's some killer clown shit rooted in reality. I think everybody thinks about John Wayne Gacy when it comes to killer clowns. Never actually killed while dressed as a clown, however. He just happened to be a clown in his spare time at like children's hospital events. Real creepy. I mean, it's creepy that he did that as a side hobby and also murdered young men. I don't but it never seemed to coincide or go hand in hand, but everybody remembers him. They call him the killer clown, even though he kept his hobbies separate.
See, I thought you were going to mention something a little bit more lighthearted. I thought you were going to say the 2016 clown sightings.
Well,
those were a lot of fun though, like the Shakes the Clown stuff. Wasn't that what it's called? Like Shakes the Clown, or maybe they kind of went hand in hand. But I remember the clown sightings. Were they a real thing, or was that just something that was invented?
Yeah, but people were like,
because people were dressing up like clowns and just showing up random places. It was on the real news, I think.
I mean,
it was, because
I remember someone made a movie about it. Obviously, I mean,
Behind the Sightings, which is a found footage horror film, which isn't very good, but it's interesting. It's kind of neat to check out. Still check it out because it's kind of neat. Because also, I mean, I liked it because it was in my home state of North Carolina. So.
Oh, there you go. When I was first learning to drive, this is going to be 2000. The year 2000, I'm learning to drive. Me and my friend are driving in a car, and I look over, and there's literally a clown standing in the bushes. There's a sidewalk next to him. He's not standing in the sidewalk. There's a parking lot next to him. He's not in the parking lot. He's in the fucking bushes with a single balloon just going. He's not in a mask. It's in the face, just waving. And I looked at my buddy. I was like, did you see that clown? He's like, yeah, I saw that clown. We're not going to talk about that clown. We're going to keep driving. And we did. But it was the weirdest thing. And like years later, I was like, yeah, but where was he standing? He was like, in the bushes. Why was he in the bushes? And I was like, right? I'm not crazy. It was just like up to his waist in the bushes, just like, And it was like, why? This is 2000. No clown. Like, we shouldn't have been doing that yet.
Wow. That's terrifying.
Cut ahead of his time.
Cut to 2002. I'm at Emerson. I am in the hospital with appendicitis. Now, when I go to the hospital, I was stuck there for a month. Do you remember that, Pat?
I do remember that.
I'm in the hospital, and this is a whole story in its own right, and maybe one day I'll tell it, but it's a long story. It goes on forever. Because I hadn't gotten a doctor yet, I was still technically under a pediatrician. So I was put in the children's ward. I'm an 18-year-old adult at that point in the children's ward. And in the children's ward, they bring around fucking clowns. And so at one point I'm like on morphine because I had a horrible appendicitis nightmare. And like, I look up and there's a clown at the window just being like, ah, and I was like, no, go away. Ah! And they were like, oh.
Better than at the foot of your bed, like at midnight, just holding a balloon, staring you down. That would have been, if I was a clown in the children's ward, I think I would, have some fun, Patch Adams style.
It was real weird. It was, that whole time. Yeah. So those are my true clown nightmares. True story. Here's another great one that is fun to bring up when it comes to clowns, but Hell House LLC. The audience here told me to watch it because I was like, found footage clown movie? No fucking way. But Hell House LLC from 2015 was actually a really good found footage with clowns movie, and I was impressed with it. I haven't seen any of the sequels since then, but the first one was cool. There's definitely some freaking clowns in it, and I like it.
I'm one of those, Aaron, you and me have talked about it, even on our found footage episode. That was back when we used to be in X Spaces, which, by the way, go on Twitter or X and go to @BlockOfHorror, and you could listen to all our old episodes back when we were exclusive on X Spaces right there, and you can find the found footage one. Some good ones. A
bunch of them there, yeah.
And we did a full found footage episode, and I was pretty open. I'm not a fan of found footage films. I think if they're done right, they can be great.
Yep.
But I think Hell House LLC is one of those that's done right. It's effectively creepy. Of course, that clown has kind of become the mascot of the franchise. He's been in every one since. The sequels have been a mixed bag. I mean, you get some pretty good ones, and you get some. Let's not talk about those. But this first one is phenomenal as a first movie because I remember watching this and just absolutely loving it.
I love the feel of. I love how they capture it because it makes you feel like you're along on the ride with them, and if you were in that situation, how terrifying it would be. And I don't know how they accomplish it. I think it's that mixture of the found footage style, but just the way they were able to aesthetically bring that together, it becomes a ride that you're really a part of. You're really with them for, you know.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Oh no! You go ahead.
I was just thinking because Pat said Shakes the Clown. I was trying to remember. I was like, is that a horror movie? It's not. It's a Bobcat Goldthwait movie with Julie Brown, and somebody says here it's the Showgirls of clown movies, which I'm like, what does that mean? And it's about a clown's rise to being the greatest clown, and he becomes a horrible alcoholic and like falls into despair. Like
it's worth a watch. It is worth a watch. Shakes the Clown.
It's going on the Letterboxd list.
Shakes the Clown. That's wild, man. I mean, I do like Bobcat Goldthwait. I think he's a very talented writer, director, comedian, artist. Yeah, here's Shakes the Clown. But wow, this looks intense. Not a horror movie, but looks terrifying.
It's still on the list.
I said Shakes the Clown, but I meant another Wrinkles the Clown. That's what I meant. Not
Wrinkles
Shakes
the Clown. Yeah.
I got my wrinkles and my shakes mixed up.
So in college, I was, you discover at some point when you're trying to become a filmmaker, you discover Kevin Smith and you go, wow, Kevin Smith's the best. What an independent god. I love all of it. And then you realize that there's a View Askew film produced by Kevin Smith about a killer clown that is unacceptable to watch. It is the biggest nightmare. I bought the movie. I got it. Like I scored it on DVD and we get together because we're going to watch it. And suddenly it's like, oh no, this isn't like a fun, silly View Askew universe movie. This movie is horrifying. And it's the star of Clerks plays a clown. Okay. And he's trying to make some money as a birthday clown. Let me tell you this cast. Okay. So it's Brian Johnson wrote and directed. It stars Brian Johnson, who was Brian O'Halloran is the star of Clerks. He plays the clown, but then Ethan Suplee, who I'm sure you guys all recognize from, he was in My Name is Earl. He was in a lot of movies from that era. Here's what Ethan Suplee looks like. He's in it. And basically this guy gets called to a hotel room for a birthday party and it's 3 dudes in there and they pull a deliverance. And I hope I don't have to describe what that means. That's what this movie's about. It's about some deliverance, awful stuff to a clown. It is so fucked. And then he goes back for revenge. And it's just gnarly. It is, Ethan was in Mallrats. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to make hate to you. Chaos Man knows what's up. I'm going to kiss you all over. And I kiss with a blowtorch and a pair of pliers is a line from that movie. Still in my head from college. Fucked me over so badly. It was so messed up. Not a horror movie, just a very, very vulgar film. But
that's another one we watched together, by the way, up at the top of 100 Beacon on the big TV.
We watched it. Yeah, and it was in public.
Yeah, just such a letdown.
Yes, Twisty the Clown from American Horror Story.
Yes,
great pull. KG, great pull, because let's bring it back around to some fun stuff because that was dark and miserable. But don't watch vulgar. But yeah, Twisty the clown, he's missing a jaw and his tongue's lolling out. Freaking awesome. I love Freak Show. That season of American Horror Story is one of my favorites of the franchise, and Twisted Clown's terrifying. So good.
And he comes back in the later season Cult.
Really?
It's kind of like it's like an in-universe comic book character. It also leads to the main character's fear of clowns, which the said cult in the season used to terrify her. That one's a wild season too.
Yeah. How did we forget Wrinkles for Shakes? Yeah, definitely a good season. Wrinkles the Clown, I'm going to pull him up because he's a fun one to that is a good.
Isn't that the clown for hire that like some people will like call to like just scare people?
Basically, he's here. It is. It's Wrinkles the Clown. Terrifying.
There he is.
Yeah.
He's basically the Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz with a clown face on.
Yeah, here it is. It's a 2019. They made a 2019 documentary about him. The synopsis on Letterboxd: in Florida, parents can hire Wrinkles the Clown to scare their misbehaving children.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's right.
For a few $100s, he'll come scare your kid.
He's pretty creepy. I mean,
it's terrifying. It really is not a good look, but what a great mask. I mean, good for them putting it all together.
That is a good one. Out of curiosity, because you mentioned it, what are your favorite It's? You know, like out of the four, I guess there's four that exist now. Part 1, Part 2, and both iterations, the made for TV and the Machete film. So, which ones do you guys?
I'm a Part 1 for both of them. Both of the Part 1s of these series are so great because the original one, I don't think you can beat the Tim Curry performance. I think it's one of the greatest performances of all time. But I think as a complete package, the later It series really kind of took it up a notch, and they got to be as scary as they wanted to be. But like Tim Curry blew my mind, scared the shit out of me as a kid, and you get all that claymation stuff in the first chapter of the original It miniseries. And I love that. I love all those pieces of it. And it will always stick to me as scaring the hell out of me as a little kid. But then like when they remade it, man, the first one came out swinging hard.
Yeah.
You
and me had a conversation about that. So yeah, I remember seeing the miniseries. Like it was rebroadcasted on TV so many times.
Yeah.
I own it. And it's the same thing with both of these. So with the miniseries, I think the first part with the children and everything is great, but once it gets in them as adults, it's just a steep decline. Same thing with the two It movies, the Andy Muschietti It movies. Part 1, phenomenal. I saw this in the theater and loved it. Part 2, you and me had a conversation before we went on. It's, it's a 3-hour film. Chapter 2 is, and it fills every bit of that 3 hours, like every bit of that 3 hours.
But that's the problem with the book. I mean, the second half is it's a downhill a little bit. Well, not to knock King, but he came up with some books during that time where the endings were like it was just a slow, nosedive into just disaster. So, it's not all just the film or the filmmakers. I think there's a reason why
he notoriously doesn't quite know how to finish what he started. Notoriously.
Yeah.
And
right.
I mean, I think everybody who's read the book is like, yeah, that's not how it ends in the book. And you're like, no, it's not how it ends in the book. Right. Which is even weirder, but it's like, it's hard.
The book ending. We can't even talk about on the show.
Yeah, you can't even say that on YouTube. But the movie, I mean, they all end with them defeating the clown by like their letting their light shine and their positivity overshining his negativity, which like when you read it is like, yeah, great way to kill a clown. In reality, you're like, you just dissed him till he died. Which is like,
totally. But I think out of the 2 Part 2s, I like the Muschietti Part 2 better than the miniseries Part 2 because they have that weird scene where Bill takes Audra, played by Olivia Hussey, I think her name is, or Hussey, but she recently passed away. She's a great actress, but he gets her on Silver, the bicycle, and then decides, because she's like in this catatonic state, to put her on the bicycle with him and then go down the hill, and that wakes her up from the catatonic state. What a weird, bizarre ending to the film. And then the end of the film is that they stop the bike. She wakes up. She's like, where am I? Where am I? And then the camera pulls out on the street. All the cars are kind of beeping. And you hear the laughter of Tim Curry's clown laugh. And then the movie ends. What a weird, bizarre way to end that film. Weird.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Just putting a woman in a coma on a fucking bike.
Weird. Like without explanation, how does Silver, that ride on Silver down this like San Francisco hill?
Again, when you're reading
wake
it,
her up?
he's like, the memory of childhood, the joys of childhood will heal these wounds. And that is a big thing about it. Like, throughout the whole thing, the trauma that they felt and the joys that they felt are reinterlaced throughout it. And this is the thing that's going to wake her up. And in the book, it made a lot more sense. But then again, sometimes when you put things onto camera and you're like, oh, that's just as silly as it looks.
But all he does at the end is say,
it looks like a jackass stunt.
Yeah, I mean, he drives down the hill, and plus he's yelling, beat it, Audra, beat it. And it's like, beat what the fuck you talking about? And she's just, going for it. And as a kid, it kind of made, like, I was like, okay, whatever. But as an adult looking at it, just, what the fuck?
The original Bozo the Clown was pretty scary. This is true. One of my favorite original Bozo the Clown stories is Kramit Clown. The kid's playing this damn the throw the ping pong ball in a cup, and the kid misses and goes, shit, it's live TV. Bozo goes, that's a Bozo no. And the kid goes, Kramit Clown. Bozo looks directly at the camera, goes, boop, 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 it just cuts. They just cut the feed so quick. It's an incredible old piece of TV. If you can find it on YouTube, look it up. Bozo the Clown, Bozo no. Hysterical. How about the original Ronald McDonald, played by Willard Scott, the weathered man from our childhood? Terrifying because he had a cup for a nose. I'm going to pull that picture up in a second.
Oh,
but
yeah, I remember him.
Like the original Ronald McDonald was not as fun and normal as he looked. It was terrifying. Original Ronald.
Oh, yeah, he was scary. There were a lot of like fast foody cereal brand creepy clowns, like Crinkle Clown. That's another one. Pull up after this.
Like
Crinkles the Clown. He has a commercial where he just so
like
creepy.
Like, yeah, that's
terrifying. Oh my god.
Yep.
What in the living hell?
Doesn't it look like he already ate a child and it's just his face just covered in
does.
blood?
It certainly does. What's in those hamburgers, kids?
Child meat. The original Ronald McDonald. So they were trying to make a TV show, and they hired Sid and Marty Krofft. And you guys all know Sid and Marty Krofft for making these hallucinatory, ball-trippingly weird shows with like magic flutes and like HR Puffin stuff. Well, Sid and Marty Krofft designed Grimace and Mayor McCheese and the Hamburglar and all this stuff. And then McDonald's was like, yeah, we don't need you. And they stole it. And then they got sued, and McDonald's settled. And so all that weird, like trippy Fry Guys and stuff comes from the world and mind of Sid and Marty Krofft back in this era.
Yeah, I'm glad he evolved into what he became, instead of them just leaving it as it was.
Crazy. And then, yeah, there's the original Bozo down there too, which is like, oh no. Yeah, man, clowns. I don't know why somebody thought this is fun and jolly. Like, clowns have always had kind of a little creepy going on that is funny to me.
Hey, Aaron, play the Crinkles the Clown Crinkle cereal commercial, because we had it playing in the Block of Horror in our video store.
I don't know if I'll be able to get audio. I won't be able to get audio through here.
Oh, you don't even need Aaron. You don't need audio.
Okay,
it's just creepy as is without audio. But it's basically black and white, old school post cereal commercial. A clown bursts out of a wall. I don't even know where the hell he comes from. Some sort of like paper mache wall, and then starts just eating cereal. There he is. Yep.
Oh,
like, you don't need audio at all. It's just, what the hell is this? Some strange doghouse, and he's in the circus ring. Look at him. Like, the way his
He's tweaking out, man. He's got that one eye.
And that's the name of the cereal. The cereal has him on the box. Crinkles cereal.
Well, I can see why they fucking discontinued it. Jesus.
And this became Snap, Crackle, and Pop. You know, the
turned into Rice Krispies.
Maybe it did. It looks like it did because it looks like a similar thing.
Oh wow, clowns.
Can I tell you a very scary clown story from when I was a kid? And it's very short. But I went to a circus, and it forever ingrained the fear of clowns in my bones. I sat in the front row of this circus. I'll never forget it. Local circus. I'm sitting down. All of a sudden, the clowns come out. You know, they did the clown moment. One of the clowns picks me up out of my seat and brings me into the ring. And I almost flat out pissed myself. It was a terrifying, terrifying experience. And I just thought about it, you know, every night for that. But imagine that being at an actual circus and like an actual clown looks at you and stares you down, then picks you out of the seat with the clowns, and then just
nowhere did you
brings
sign
you
it.
in.
Yeah, you didn't sign any sort of waiver that says, the clowns could pick up my children.
This was the 80s. They didn't have waivers then. Come on. It was fucked.
All right, guys, let's wrap it up. Give me one more clown movie or one more clown antidote. Chase, do you got something for us?
Yeah, let's go ahead and knock this one out. This is one I watched this week. The Funhouse Massacre from 2015. Very low budget film. Has some good horror icons in it though. You got Robert Englund's in the beginning. You got Clint Howard. Of course, one of the main villains is Rocco the Clown, who was a clown professional wrestler who murdered people, got put in an institution. Then a woman named Dollface, who also dresses up as a clown, releases all these psychotic serial killers. It is a lot. It's basically like Expendables, but for horror fans.
All right.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. And they go invade a fun house and basically just kill patrons in the fun house. It's a lot of fun.
So for being low budget, delivers on what it promises. Mm-hmm. Killer clowns in a clown house. My last one is called The Last Circus. This is not meant to be a horror film, but it's just horrifying. And it's about this loser clown who it's kind of like the plot of Freaks. He falls in love with the beautiful woman there. She loves him or strings him along, but then rejects him, and he goes on a massacre spree. He starts this massacre spree by taking 2 hot clothes irons and burning his face with them, and it ends with him like that's why he has the triangles on his face, going on like an Uzi rampage of the circus. It is wild. It's one of those movies that I don't think it was meant to be a horror film, but is just sad and just hallucinogenically bizarre. But yeah, I got a hold of this one back when Netflix was still physical media, and it was very disturbing.
All right. Adding that to the Letterboxd list.
Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal. Yes. There's also in the oh man, what is the video game about zombies in a mall? There's a killer clown double chainsaws on a roller coaster in that game.
Left 4 Dead?
Might be Left 4 Dead. Yeah, it could be Left 4 Dead. But yeah, Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal. Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal is what the character from Drive Thru looks like to me. To bring it back to the beginning. Crazy Joe Davola in his super kick. Was he dressed as a clown? Classic stuff, man. Pat, you got anything to sign off with?
Well, I'll sign off with 2. First one, probably the oldest clownish horror movie that we're going to talk about or haven't talked about in the show, The Man Who Laughs. That's a really good one, and you can look that one up. But just that image of the grin is just burned into a lot of what horror filmmakers emulate now. So definitely The Man Who Laughs. If you got an image of that, bring that shit up now.
I mean, he's the inspiration behind the Joker.
Inspiration behind the Joker, and just that. But that it's just terrifying. One of the scariest makeup looks. Classic horror. Yeah, that'll stick with you for a bit.
Oh my God. Yeah. Really freaky.
And And then the last one would be The Clown at Midnight, 1989. Totally forgot about that one. Margot Kidder, Christopher Plummer, unsung clown horror movie. So check out The Clown at Midnight. It is definitely a really creepy one. Has some good moments.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary enough right there.
1989.
And it's on
89.
Tubi. It's on Tubi.
Get on it, guys.
Clown
Get
at
on it.
Midnight. Let's do some plugs, man. What do you got? Wait, hold on. Before we do plugs, who is in Clown at Midnight?
Christopher Plummer, Margot Kidder. Great cast.
No,
and
this guy.
others.
Who's this
And
guy?
this guy.
Sorry, I know who it is. I'm trying to figure out who it
Christopher
is.
Plummer, Margot Kidder, and some other actors.
And this guy.
Okay, I'll figure out who it is. Give some plugs, Pat. Plug.
Screenwriters Podcast. I'm dying to do more episodes of this show. I am just so freaking busy, but it will happen at Screenwriters PC on X, at Screenwriters Podcast on Instagram, screenwriterspodcast.com. We have like 50 plus episodes, almost 60 episodes. There's plenty there to binge. So head on over there. You can find me at New York in June on X as well, and we can chat about whatever you want to chat about. And then, I'm always going to plug our work, Aaron and myself, primordialpicks.com. You can check out all the amazing projects that we've got in development right now. You can see like the VHS covers, you can spin them around, read the backs of the boxes. You can see a little bit of what we're working on, because there's some awesome stuff there. So check that out.
I figured out who that guy was. It's James Duvall. James Duvall, who's in Donnie Darko, but I know him from Independence Day because he's like, "What are you doing?" He's
the brother. Yes.
Yeah, he's in May. I remember him in May.
He's in May. Underrated film. May's a really good movie. Does not get the remembrance because it was kind of a direct to DVD horror film of its time.
Very bizarre.
Very bizarre. Yes. All right, Chase, plugs.
Yes. So of course, seeing me here every Saturday with you, Aaron, on Half Hour of Horror. You can follow me on Letterboxd at Oh Hey It's Chase, which, speaking of Letterboxd, if you go on X at Block of Horror, go to this video for this broadcast, I will be dropping the Letterboxd list of all the films we talked about. Plus, I've been keeping paying attention on the chat. I've been adding whatever you guys have been throwing out there. It's on the list. So yeah, go there. And also follow me at Blue Sky and Instagram and TikTok at Oh Hey It's Chase.
Woohoo! And of course, follow me, all the socials at Launchpad Pod, my other show. We do it every other Wednesday. Have some fun stuff coming out this week and some good recordings planned for the future. And then, of course, McLean and Abel on Instagram. Guys, as usual, thanks to everybody who listened. What's up, Karen? And everybody who has been joining us in the chat. El Inca, Chaos Man, it's KG, Karen, of course. Thank you all for joining us these weeks. We need to throw up a little bit of blood coin, so I'm gonna BOH banners. Oh, okay. We can
something clowny.
Yeah, what would be a good clowny thing?
Can you is clown around too long? Because that's a good one.
Clown around. Done and around. Show clown around. So go open up a Discord ticket, type in clown around, get you some blood coin. It's gonna be great. Till next time, guys. This has been a lot of fun. We love it. So we have some guests coming. Next week we're doing the Leprechaun franchise. We're talking about, yeah, I know.
I can't be there, but it's going to be a great show.
We are going to talk about the maligned shoe polisher himself.
Will Michael Myers make an appearance? I'm the Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Come on. He has to at least come on.
So much fun. So yeah, we're gonna be doing the Leprechaun series and have a lot of fun. So till next time, everybody. Woo! Half Hour Horror signing off.